Right. So that was another fascinating weekend of the Six Nations. Let's get straight into it. Ireland versus Wales. Now, Ireland can start looking forward to a Triple Crown showdown versus Scotland next week after downing a spirited Wales side. Yeah, I think I can say that. Wales were spirited, but sticking with Ireland, they could still win the title, but it's not in their hands. Now, in order for them to win the title, they have to pray that Scotland defeats France, but in a form fencing, I don't think that's likely. And looking forward to next week, they have got to beat Scotland and hope results go in their favour. Yeah, so that's what needs to happen for Ireland to win the Six Nations. Now, on to Wales, they showed they were better and showed they still had something to play for. Yeah, they're in that position where they have nothing but pride to play for at this point. They weren't even bad against Ireland, but unfortunately, they lost and now they're winless in 10. And so goes the question, where do they go from here? Ending up with a third straight wooden spoon seemed like a possibility, which is something I alluded to a few rounds ago. But now, that could be a damning reality, as next week they face Italy. Scotland versus France. What a game! What a game! Now, who'd have thought that after Scotland losing to Italy on the first weekend, would be here in match week 4, still in with a shot at glory? Not many would have thought that. In fact, when Scotland lost to Italy on the first weekend, I'm pretty sure there was a sense of, oh, here we go again. Same old Scotland, but they responded very well since then. And now they romped to victory. Well, I say romped, but nah, I'm gonna stick with the word romped here. And now they are on the brink of history with a huge win over France. I think the only downside to that is the fact that France themselves managed to get a bonus point from that game, and that's something Scotland were looking to prevent. Were Scotland being a little naive? France themselves, they are still in with a shot at the Six Nations title, but they have made it very hard for themselves now. And the way they ended the first half, for me, ultimately, that was when the game was won and lost. Where France, there was a scene towards the end of the first half where France thought, instead of still going for points, they just kicked it out to end the first half, which made sense to the point of view of let's save energy, but from a competitive point of view, to me, that signaled that France had given up. Or that's the way I saw it anyway. But what did you think of that particular scene towards the end of the first half? Sticking with France here, have they stolen defeat from the jaws of victory? Now, this weekend, they could have won the Six Nations title with a game to spare, which I don't think has been done before. But if it hasn't, please let me know. But like I just said, France could have won the Six Nations this weekend, but instead, the title goes to a decider next weekend, and it all sets up very nicely, really. We haven't had a Six Nations ending in such a way since 2015, so that's something I would definitely be looking forward to. I think from the point of view of the enjoyment factor, this for me has been without doubt the most entertaining game of the tournament. So many twists and turns throughout the whole game. And in some ways, it's reminded me of England's win over France back in 2015. And thinking about that game and this game that's just been played, I think it's the first time in 11 years that France have conceded 50 plus points, or shall I say 50 or more points. I'm not 100% sure about that one also. So again, please let me know. One more thing. Has a team that's lost their first fixture gone on to win the Six Nations? Has that ever happened before? If it has, then please let me know. Because I don't think that's happened before. Or, you know what? I'm just going to leave the question with you. Has a team that has lost their opening game gone on to win the Six Nations? Finally, Italy versus England. And finally, after 33 attempts, Italy finally record a win over England. Now, I questioned whether Italy could beat England in my preview, and I also questioned whether Italy could play rugby for 80 minutes rather than be playing rugby like 30, 40 minutes and dropping off in the second half, as they did against the same opponents last year. And they did. And honestly, Italy deserved that win. Ultimately, Italy wanted it more. And although there was, in terms of a title, there was little on the line in terms of that, but in terms of everything else, there was a lot on the line. Heading into this game, Italy had never beaten England previously, and for them to finally record a first win over England, that is a massive step in the right direction. I mean, for Italy to defeat both Scotland and England in the same tournament, that is incredible. That is really incredible for Italy. Honestly, I am really happy for them. And now on to England. Like, it's now a third straight loss, and they are now staring down the barrel of a worst tournament in years. And I don't think I remember England winning just one game in the Six Nations. I don't think that's happened in years. Someone please let me know, when was the last time England managed to win just one game? Like, I asked this about Wales, but let's ask this about England too. Where do they go from here? Losing to Italy is yeah, I'm just going to call it for what it is. Embarrassing from England, and that's what I have to say really, because everyone will say everything else. Now, I'm sure a few were looking at this fixture as a dead rubber, but it was far from that, as there was plenty on the line. Like, Italy was searching for their first ever win over England, which they got, and England were looking to what you call it, just looking to heal some wounds, which have just been made even bigger. So, in that respect, there was still a lot to play for. So, with Italy defeating both England and Scotland for the first time ever in the Six Nations, where can I take these results going forward? Does this herald? I'm not going to use the word herald because I have no idea what that word even means. But do those wins kickstart a new generation for Italy, where they can take on and defeat some of the best sides? And like I said earlier in the video, where do England go from here? And how do they respond against France next week? We shall see.